Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about the two biggest mistakes that I see happening right now in marketing. So grab your pen and paper and hop on with us and come and listen.
Welcome to Life Reimagined with Wendy. I believe we were fortunate to grow up in a unique time in our culture that is helping shape our lives over the age of 45. We are redefining what our lives are like today and pushing the boundaries of what a 45-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 65-year-old, or years young and true adventurer really looks like. Many of us are newly blazing trails and carving out our own purpose-driven path forward. Yep, there have been many unexpected road twists that helped you get here today, but many times these turn out to be blessings. They help you more clearly define what you want. So join me for insights and interviews that show you can face these unexpected challenges and you can come out on the other side stronger and happier. You can make your best days ahead and you can reimagine your next.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Behind Her Brand episode. I am your host, Kimberly DeShields-Spencer, and if you have been following me for any length of time, you know that I absolutely love talking about marketing and branding. I just do. I love helping people who are creators and business owners and running groups and organizations to build really healthy, profitable, and engaging marketing. So today we are going to jump into the two biggest mistakes that are occurring right now with people when it comes to marketing. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why I think these are the two biggest mistakes is because oftentimes what I find is that people are trying to follow all of the trends and they're trying to follow them all at one time. And so what happens is that you can miss the mark in really developing something effective. So the first mistake that I see is not the trend topic, but is that we forget about traditional marketing. In a world that's all about technology, all about social media and everything online, that we forget the traditional. We forget the thank you notes. Sometimes we forget having coffee face to face with somebody. We forget all the different things that are what people may deem old school. They may deem outdated, like still sending things in the mail, things of that nature. Here's the thing. As fast as technology is going, as much as, yes, I do believe that we should be online and do all the things. But what I also know is in talking to as many people that I have recently is that people are missing the personal touch. They're missing the personal connection. They're missing the intentionality of building a real business relationship. You know, when I started business, and I'm probably going to date myself, there was no Facebook. There was no Instagram. There was no Twitter. There was none of that. When I started, there was MySpace. Okay. And at that time, that platform was not being used for all the things that social media is being used for today. So we had to go to meetings and we had to literally meet people face to face, schedule time to sit down and talk with them. Everything was very intentional. And in some ways, to some people, it could seem maybe time consuming. But I think whenever you're building something, it's not time consuming. I think it's an investment of time. Very big, different thought process there. Okay. So we had to really and truly cultivate relationships in a different way. And I'll tell you what was very valuable about that is that you got a chance to get to know people. And right now in our current society with things being so fast paced that we feel like we see people online and get a glimpse of who they are based off of the pictures and posts and things of that nature. What we miss is really getting to know who that person is and talking to them and understanding their likes and their dislikes. Now, I'm not saying go deep dive and know about every intricate part of someone's life or the organization, but when you do know a little bit more about them and you do have a stronger connection to them, it informs the marketing. It informs the connection. It even informs the personal touches you may send for holidays, birthdays, or just, hey, thank you, we appreciate you. It informs every single thing that you do. Like, for example, if you want to send a great gift to a client, it's always going to land a little bit stronger. I won't even say a little bit, much stronger, if you send them something that is in line with who they are. Because it'll show that, man, they took the time to get to know me, or they took the time to learn something about me versus sending them a generic type of gift. Okay. So here's some other pieces of traditional marketing that I want you to consider. Okay. So I mentioned earlier about like sending something in mail, like a thank you. So outside of just a thank you note, Think about everyone that you're working with right now. Think about their team members. Think about everyone attached to the things that you are doing right now. And ask yourself, is there an encouragement card that you can send? Is there a way to go card that you can send? Something that congratulates them on something that you saw online or that you read about them? Is there something that you can send in that space? Is there something outside of a thank you that you can send to that organization or the team members that you're working with or whatever, or your clients? Think about that. Is there something that you can send? Also, a really great way to create another form of connection through traditional marketing is if you haven't sent like a creative brochure. I'm not saying something that has to be multiple pages or something of that nature, but just something like an update, like here's some new things that we're doing right now. Send that through the mail at least once a year, something where they can sit down and touch and feel and make it interactive. You can put QR codes where they can scan it and see a video from you. We do this often we have a subscription box company. And so on occasion, we'll put in there just a little bit of a postcard with a QR code, and then they can see a message from me or my team. We put in sometimes, hey, scan this, and then they open it up, and there's a video where we're sharing that we got a free offer for them. Whatever it might be, but it creates engagement, and people love it. So they get something in the mail that's creative and fun, and then you can make it interactive at the same time. Now, there's other things traditional, and typically traditional means things offline, like, for example, outdoor advertising and newspapers and things of that nature. I'm not saying do any of those things because I don't think necessarily that that's what you need to go into, because traditional marketing in those spaces can be expensive. I'm talking specifically about creating more connection, more one-on-one connection. Something I used to do for many years, and then COVID hit, and so I had to stop doing it, but we just started doing them again, is I would have coffee weeks. 1 week, typically every other month, and I would have my team set up coffee meetings with people that I really wanted to get to know better, whether they're my client or whether organization that was interested in working with me. I wanted to have a sit down. I didn't want to do a Zoom call. I didn't want to do a phone call. I didn't want to do text messaging or emails back and forth. I wanted to sit down with them to really understand their needs, really understand who they are, really understand their clients, understand why they're even seeking and bringing someone like me on board. Like, I wanted to have a real intentional conversation. And I cannot begin to tell you how many really healthy relationships I built in business because of those meetings. They don't last long. They can be 90 minutes. Sometimes I'll ask them to schedule 2 a day, just for 1 week. And it'll give me a chance to let them see who I am also. They can better understand my approach. They can better understand my personality. And that way we can build a really healthy business relationship. So those are some of the things that I would consider or ask you to consider when you're trying to build. Don't forget traditional marketing. I know that it's one of the oldest forms of marketing, but it's still one of the most researched, the most engaging, and also it's the one that creates longer lasting connections. Okay. Because with everything competing for people's attention online, when you feel like, okay, I know this person, I know a little bit about them, it creates a different form of loyalty that you definitely want in your marketing. Okay. Now, here's the second thing. One of the biggest mistakes is what I did kind of mention earlier is the trends. There are so many amazing things out there constantly. And trust me, I'm here for it when it comes to different ways you can do your marketing. But one of the biggest mistakes with those things is that oftentimes people jump on all of them at one time. Focus on the platforms where your audience lives. Focus on the platforms where they get their information, where they connect with you best. You don't have to join 10 different platforms. You don't have to jump on every single trend, but you should. Now, I will say this, when there's different things coming out, it's okay to reserve your usernames or what have you in those different spaces in the event that you decide to go that direction. But I'm going to encourage you, if Facebook is your best form of connection with your audience, use that, but use it well. If Instagram is your best form, use that and use it well. What happens oftentimes is when we're working on way too many platforms and doing way too many different things, you don't create the kind of content that's engaging. It's more cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste everywhere. But your audience is kind of like, okay, I'm not feeling like they're really connecting to me. I feel like they're just posting something to be posting. You don't want that type of connection with your audience. You want them to feel like you've taken real good time to really nurture that relationship with them, even if it is online. So find the mediums that work best for you. And I'm saying this as a marketer, which I know probably sounds very different than what's typically told. But I have learned, and I've helped my clients see, when you focus on the areas where your clients are actually at versus posting on Twitter or posting on Pinterest and your audience doesn't go to those platforms, it's a waste of time for you. It doesn't create more visibility per se, because here's the thing. If your audience is not even going over there, that means the people that they're connected to too, which is also possibly part of your audience too, are not going to be going to those mediums. So focus on the first couple, whatever that might be for you. Master that, grow it, create engaging content, do everything you can for them to be able to see who you are and what it is that you offer. And then as you grow, if your audience grows into new spaces, or if you create new lines of business that is more about the other platforms, then definitely build those out. But I just want to encourage you, take the pressure off yourself. Don't put the pressure on that you feel like you have to do all these different things. Create the best possible content on the mediums that your audience actually goes to every single day. So those are the two things that I find that are the biggest mistakes currently, that we're forgetting I cannot talk. Forgetting the traditional marketing, the personal touch, the engagement, being intentional. Sometimes we're forgetting that in our marketing. And then on the other side of that, trying to do too much on too many platforms. You want your marketing overall, okay, to be consistent, to be clear, to be connective, and you also want it to make sense. Okay? You want to make sure that your audience knows who you are, what you're about, and more importantly, what you offer. But on the other side of that, you need to get to know them. You need to know who they are, what they're about, and what they're engaged in. And when you know those different elements, you'll find that your traditional marketing side of it will be stronger. And you'll also find that you're putting content out there that fits for them. Okay? So thank you again for joining us for another one of our Behind Her Brand podcasts. And it's always my hope and my prayer that the tidbits that we're giving you are helpful and that they're helping you grow forward, or if nothing else, they're helping you think creatively and differently about your approach to how you're doing your marketing. You can learn more about us at www.behindherbrand.net. And you can also find us on YouTube, which we have some incredible interviews with some amazing women. You can also find us on Instagram at the handle at behindherbrand and _dash. And if you're not a part of our newsletter, definitely you want to join it. We send out really great information every 2 weeks. And when I say great, let me say this real quick before I let you all go. This is a little marketing tip. Always ask your audience what they need and what they want to hear. It's good to ask that to get feedback, but it's also good to also lead them into new ways of thinking and being as well. And the reason why I say great is because we've been getting feedback from you that you're really enjoying the content, and it's because we asked you. We wanted to make sure that we are creating content that our audience enjoys and wants to receive. So that's a small little tidbit. If you haven't asked your audience in a long time what type of information they really need in this moment, in this season of their organizational lives, if you will, ask them. It can lead you into some really great places of creativity and content. Thank you guys. Y'all have a great day.